listen, we want to welcome you all back to another PCEN production.
I am Trice Batson, co-owner of Professional Cannabis Education Network. I'm here with my great partner,
Ezra Bell, the other half of the Professional Cannabis Education Network, aka PCEN.
PCEN. Okay,
right,
that's what we do it. Yeah. Hey man, we got here today. We got here today, so we happy. So just excuse our elation here because it's been a long time coming to get back. Before we go any further, you want to make sure to give a shout out to Rich. What's the name of your production company, man?
Compton Media Group.
Compton Media Group for the production man behind the scenes. I always like to say, get a drummer some, so you give him the drummer some over there.
Yes.
So shout out to Compton Media Group.
Absolutely.
We are absolutely ready to rock and roll. So where we gonna start, man?
Hey, so listen, I think we start with a recap, right?
Sounds good.
Let's talk about some of the things that we've done as an organization, as an entity within the cannabis industry, right? So we also want to make sure that while we're together, we want to have a conversation and make sure we inform you all of kind of what the agenda, we'll call it.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah,
right?
Yep.
What the agenda is going to be. And this thing is going to be like a running playlist, man, I guess, right?
What they call it? A working document? Working document. Building this plane as we're flying it. You know what I mean? So,
right.
Disclosure is we tried this about a year ago just to make sure we were doing like a chemistry test, just to see if we really was rocking and rolling. We've known each other for quite some time. And so that's one thing to just be, chatting it up on a daily basis for over 20 years. But what happens when you get in front of the camera and really talk about the business that we've been into? And we liked it. So here we are. So we moving forward with that information just to share with you. So Professional Cannabis Education Network is really about just that, those four words, professional. We try to be professional and give shout out to the people that's in the cannabis industry, that's professionals, but people that's in the culture that are also professionals that may not look like your normal stoners, and they ain't got to be your normal stoners. You know what I'm saying? But they still get down. They blow one or two. Some people call them what they call them, Jimmy's joints, doobies. It don't matter. If you smoke, and we're here to make sure that it's okay. We moving the culture forward. Ezra was the one to coin our motto. What's that motto, Ezra?
Preparing the culture for the culture. And then, one might ask, what does that look like and what does that mean, right? And so our goal is to make sure that we are communicating with the industry and with the community to ensure that there's some transparency and understanding around what opportunities exist within the cannabis industry.
That being said, we're also here to tell the truth, and the current aspect or the current status of the cannabis industry in the nation, and let's be specific to the state of Michigan, is a little wonky. Let's be honest about that. It started out, real hard and fast, that fools rush in, and now there's been a huge correction. And so even for us, we've been on this trail for quite some time, and we've just kind of sat back and watched it happen. We've had the luxury of not necessarily having a dispensary or selling plants or being with flower, but have been around the industry because it's a passion project for us. So when we talk about the education aspect of it, that goes a couple different ways. We're trying to educate the various companies that come into the communities on how to be culturally responsible with the money that they're spending and where they're putting the products, how they growing the products and distributing the products. And then there's also the other side of that is it's still money to be made in the industry as an alternative. You see a lot of college kids or college students or people coming out of high school, or just people in general, like, what are you doing if you're not necessarily, if you're just looking for something different? It might be for you, because anything in the cannabis industry that is from a job perspective is in most industries. You got marketeers,
accountants,
HVAC people,
engineers,
sales people,
everything and anything that any other booming, on the rise industry in this country needs. The cannabis industry has the same set of needs. So that also brings us to, I think, a very important word for us. Did we already talk about education?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit.
All right, man. Hey, credentialing is an amazing entry point into the community, and so in some future episodes, we'll have guests, and Trice and I will talk about some of the things that we've been able to do as an organization, specifically with regards to credentialing and making sure an individual has an opportunity to stack their credentials, or right. Maybe this is a entry point back into credentialing, if you will, right, or
That's
education.
Right.
So stay tuned, and we look forward to building with you on those ideas.
We also hope to, in the realms of education, just really explore all the different types of aspects of education, and that is, what does it mean to cook with cannabis, to be parents with cannabis, parenting in and around cannabis, to have cannabis in your home or whatever be the case, going to work, right, with cannabis, and how to maybe manage. Sometimes people get how you manage cannabis is going to be individual, but we love to have that conversation because it's different for everybody. I don't think there's a right or wrong. I think the one thing we want to make sure people know is that if you find yourself aloof, that maybe you want to pull up off the cannabis a little bit, but that's a conversation for a different time. But that's what we're going to do. That's what this is all about. We're trying to keep it real.
Well, and what we're talking about ultimately is building community.
That's right.
Right? We often have the conversation that, we can go to most job and, after the weekend come back and have a conversation, or any day of the week really, and have a conversation about going to a bar and having a few drinks, right? But it is a very different conversation to have, to go to work and say, hey, I didn't go to the bar, but I did go to this dispensary, or I stopped by a friend's house and, he or she shared a different strand that helped me with my headache.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah,
or whatever that may be. Maybe
right.
It just was a way to, decompress and unwind from the week or from the day.
Yeah.
Ultimately, we're talking about a healthy and a positive lifestyle that is driven by transparency and opportunity.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up, because we have that conversation so many times about having these, again, education to alternative forms and holistic forms of wellness, where, as Ezra likes to say, we get into this conversation often, what's in your medicine cabinet can be truly addictive and destructive to people over time, and costly, right? That's the biggest thing, because we know that big farm ain't here necessarily for your true well-being. They're not here for a cure. They're here to keep you coming back. That's one of the conversations we have. So how do people in our lives and around in the community, how have they used cannabis or leaned on cannabis to kind of, supplement some of their pain meds, or even wean them off of pain meds and things that can be highly addictive, opioids and the such, right? So there's a lot of research that goes into that. Again, keeping it balanced, there's also a lot of research that goes into, if you are using cannabis and you're not of the age of 25, that's something to be considered, because research shows that the frontal lobe of the brain isn't fully developed, especially for males, until the age of 25. And cannabis can be destructive to brain cells. Let's keep it a buck about that too.
Absolutely.
But is it as bad as cocaine? Nah, no. It ain't crack. It ain't alcohol. I'm keeping it real though.
No,
you know what I'm saying? But they try to demonize this thing and hold it under. Man, the historical aspect of cannabis goes back thousands of years to the Chinese, and I mean, again, people gonna fact check whatever when it's reached, public consumption. Get to that point.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we'll do more research by the time we get to that point. But we know that that's the real history on this. So.
Well, again, we oftentimes talk about the idea of, understanding not just which dispensary or provisioning center or wherever you may decide to purchase your cannabis from. We oftentimes talk about understanding the importance of knowing where it comes from. So, Trice and I have had the opportunity to tour quite a few facilities in the area, and we plan on, continuing to visit facilities and create opportunities to be able to talk about just that.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We aren't just here to, roll them and burn them, as they say, but we want to make sure we are having a collective and information, a think tank type of a
That's
conversation with those industry gears and individuals that are keeping this thing going, right? And so we also want to make sure that we hear from you, right, and include your voice in your story. So if you have any thought processes or stories you want to share, right, we're here for that too.
Mm-hmm. And to your point, the thought leaders, right, is bringing that. I think that's what I heard you say, right?
Absolutely.
Bringing in the thought leaders, various professionals in and around the cannabis industry that's really doing it, some operators, some people that we've been real lucky and have a privilege of bumping into, working with, working for, so on and so forth, as we've tried to get our, entity off the ground. So just stay tuned for that. I think when you talk about the network, I think that's what we started to bleed into a little bit, right? So as we go down this list of the words, they all have meaning, right? Professional Cannabis Education Network. What we've built and what we've tried to build and continue to try to build is a network of people, community as Ezra will call it, that just understands what it means to be in community, to be non-judgmental, to be equitable about what it is to be in the cannabis industry, maybe even make money, but if nothing else, at least share stories, share resources, and as such. And there's a lot of activity to be had in the cannabis industry, but it's still in a lot of ways taboo. And so we're here to continue to break that stigma as professionals ourselves who indulge in cannabis from time to time. We just want to be kind of those, if dare I say, role models, you know what I mean? But just more so saying, okay, yeah, role models are just people that people can
like the way you
be
put
successful,
that.
right? And still indulge in cannabis in a way that is sometimes mind altering to a way that's great, and all the times mind altering in a way for me is a great night's sleep. So,
heard it here first.
We also, I think, would like to, when we talk about the network, I think just bridge this conversation in a variety of ways too. I would love to talk about the variety of strains. So we talk about education, right?
Absolutely.
What does that mean? What does it mean, strain? It depending on what side of the state you're on or where your brain is, you may say strand, you may say strain. I don't know. It just really depends. But we had those type of conversations.
What breed you got?
Say that again.
Some people might ask you what breed you have.
What breed you have? See, I ain't never heard that one before. I mean, I heard what you got over there. You know what I'm saying? What you smoking on. But I never heard what breed you got.
Hey, listen, I might have just came up with that one.
Okay. Breed, huh?
Yeah.
All right, that's what's up.
They two living things.
No, I got it.
Yeah.
There's all type of breeds. They live the different breeds.
And then you
breeds.
cross.
Yeah, because you got different.
And then the
A dog is a dog,
See?
and you got a pit bull as a breed.
And then when you mix it, we're not gonna go there.
Okay. That's how you come up with it.
Hey.
Anyway.
We'll be back.
We've done this in a couple different forms where we've kind of told the story of how we got here and why we're here, but I don't think we've done it, and right now should be a good time for us to just kind of jump in. This kind of started right around 2018, unofficially, officially right in the middle of the pandemic, where we just said, we looked around and saw the cannabis industry really emerging in Michigan.
Yeah.
And we were trying to find a way to be a part of the industry because we just knew, being enterprising brothers, that there had to be a way for us to get it. We knew it was going to be money involved, but I think bigger than money and what's driven us has been passion. Because it hasn't been a lot of money, you know what I'm saying? So we just continue to move this thing and we're driven by it. However, I think we have to say that it was an idea that we just continue to build on around how do we become a part of this. And we didn't have the capital per se to be buying a dispensary, furnishing a big old grow facility or something like that, right? So just being innovative and it's the ingenuity, innovative, and we just wanted to just be a part of it. So what we did is said, hey, Ezra said, man, we're gonna prepare the culture for the culture, and we're gonna bring people together.
Well, that's exactly what we said. But before we got to that point, we had a conversation about how to get into the industry, or looking at the marketplace, right? We were looking at the average salary for an individual who had a cannabis degree.
That's right. That's right.
At the time,
That's
right? So you have 2 educational professionals, right? That see this emerging market, right? And we began to have conversations and do research around what and who and how the again, the landscape, right, for the salary range. Sorry for that. That's what I was trying to get to.
I got you.
Right, looking for where were the and who were the institutions that offered said certifications and degrees, right?
Following you. Yep.
And so then came the, hey, how do we prepare the culture for the culture, right? And I think that part.
No, you're right, because as you talk about the equity, I remember you mentioning at the time Northern Michigan University was where folks had to go to get some kind of credential or degree or what have you, certificate here in the state of Michigan.
Yep, there were a couple institutions. In the UP though.
And that's in the UP, and we're in Southwest Michigan. And either way, shape, or form, if you're in the lower portion or even central, to go up north. Like where was the equity in that? And so people that could go up there and wanted to go up there and get those credentials and then come back down here and use those credentials to get jobs, it just wasn't there yet. And so that's one of the things that we wanted to share with folks is this is like you could really do this, and here's some evidence and here's some examples of how. So we were really, I think, just driven to understand how we could and how we could share that information to the community. And when we say the community, we say the culture, to those that's been disproportionately negatively impacted by the war on drugs. And we know who those people are. If we need to call it out, as Black and brown and indigenous folks. And it's just been that way. It continues to be that way. When you look at the cannabis market right now,
absolutely,
and the ownership in the cannabis market, last data I checked was it's about 3%. That is Black, and probably overall about 4% of it, anybody that's a BIPOC community. So that's not cool. We met with some gentlemen up in Grand Rapids, and the words he used was, this is a billion dollar tsunami, and we ain't getting wet.
Now think about that, right? You are in the midst of a tsunami, and for whatever reason, people that look like you are not getting wet. Now, I guess, again, if you in a tsunami, like, it would be great if people that look like us were protected in a different way.
Yes.
But we're talking about being able to tap into the money,
speaking,
right? The windfall and that which is the $1 billion industry that is moving. And as Trice just, shared the numbers with us, it just, for whatever reason, seems like individuals of color are having a hard time tapping in. And so we wanted to make sure that individuals understood that there were other pathways to tapping into the industry, right? And so we began to ask questions around who and where and how could an individual gain credentials, accredited credentials, right, that they could then leverage to gain employment.
Now, a lot of people in the cannabis industry, I can tell you, are already jaded, especially people of color, especially Black people, as we've talked to folks. They're already jaded. and some people have already tapped out. That's the reality of it all.
Yeah.
But there's still people that see some light in the tunnel, and they're going towards it, because maybe just working in corporate ain't for you, or working a 9 to 5 ain't for you, getting into a Chick-fil-A ain't for you. This is just a different opportunity, right? So we really just wanted to make sure that we were on the forefront of having that conversation. And why us? Why not us? Because we didn't see anybody else was doing it. So we just wanted to bring this flavor, to the community, to the culture. And not when we say culture, and it's the larger culture. Cannabis has a culture within itself.
There we go.
That's the thing too, right? There's a whole cannabis culture, and depending on what part of the country you're in, it looks different, it smells different, because there's different strains and flavors over there, but it's just different people, right? So we would love, as we build this thing out, to just visit different dispensaries, do some more different shopping with in that way, shape, or form, and bring people along with us to this experience, because we know there's some moms, pops, we know some aunties out there that they still getting it from Johnny down the street, or they getting it from Boo Boo because they trust Boo Boo.
And that's cool.
Right? And that's cool.
His strand might be that.
It might be. Ain't nothing wrong with it. It ain't nothing wrong with it. But if Boo Boo's son can still go to the dispensary and get a job legally, then that's an aspect of the conversation we like to have too.
Absolutely, and I think that's a very large part of the conversation, because we was raised was done in the dark, gonna come to the light.
What?
Right. So if you think about it, those of us that was raised with aunties and uncles that, had the clip with the feather on the table while we was playing spades or dominoes, whatever it was.
For the cocktails, for the roaches.
Right?
The Indian boy.
But think about the evolution of that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Of those individuals.
Yep.
Right? Well, there has to come, or I think that the next evolution, right, will be those that are coming behind us that need the encouragement to go be the scientist, that need the encouragement to go be the botanist, the chemist, so that, again, we're not left out of the understanding, right? We want to be in the know. And again, that's part of preparing the culture for the culture, right? And so we'll also be looking to have conversations with individuals that work in the laboratories and the facilities. There's one in particular. I know we're gonna really work hard to get this brother and his team up here to have some conversations. So be on the lookout for that.
I knew what you're talking about. Yep. Okay.
So
you said something that I think is worth getting into a little bit more, because you open that box of, when we talk credential, you probably heard that word credential 17 times already, but that's an important piece of it when you look at just education. And there's a variety of now cannabis programs throughout the nation. There's one in particular here in town, and we had some input, we had some influence in seeing that come to fruition. One of the things that we've been able to do is really push people towards the program, and there's incentives for it in the city of Kalamazoo. You basically can go through the program and get certificates for free. And in the meantime, the folks that have gone through it, we still have connection with. Some of them still reach out to us. I know Ezra has a few people that, he'll send a text message over to me. This person has just finished their certificate and they excited, or they got their certificate, now they're working for this company and they're doing these things and they're excited. There's been several of those stories, and we'll have some of those people. That's the plan, is to have some of those people come join us if they will, and really share their story. So now we're not just saying this in the abstract, right? So we can really, show and prove and show the evidence of what we're talking about. So, that's what we mean, like really preparing the culture for the culture, and pulling people through and pushing people and exposing them, educating them, and making them aware of this industry and this alternative career that's out here.
Yeah, this alternative career that does very well with transferable skills.
Yep.
Right. So we're talking about individuals coming from, whether we're talking about retail, the hospitality industry. There are a number of points of intersection to very healthy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Job opportunities. Excuse me. And so we want to make sure that we keep the community at large, aware of what those opportunities look like and how to tap into them.
Switching lanes just a little bit. We mentioned this earlier. We talked about strains. What's your favorite strain right now?
Ooh.
For those of you that don't know what strains are, you want to tell them what strain
go
is?
ahead, 'cause
Okay.
I'm thinking.
It's just that we mentioned it earlier. Strain is just a certain type of plant. It's some people is going to call it strands. It's a flavor. It's a cultivar of what a cannabis plant is. For those of us that may be 50 and over, it wasn't such a big theme for people to put these marketed words onto the plants. But nowadays you have names like gushers, you have strawberry runts, you have names like strawberry cough,
Pink flamingo.
Bingo. That's the name of it. You got the strain?
Listen,
that's
so
the name of it?
it's between the King Clementine and the Pink Flamingo.
Why? Tell me why.
Because they both help me with, I've had surgery on both knees.
Yeah.
And they both help me with the pain that I oftentimes deal with, right? They don't leave that gassy feeling in your throat, sometimes, right? And so very smooth, right?
Okay.
And so yeah, and I am very selective. Like I don't do things that make me nervous, right?
Yep.
Like if it's a crack something, I was born in '77. We don't mess with crack.
So a lot of that has to do with
These marketing tools that they use and these labels that they put.
Yeah.
I don't want nothing that's crack, bro. Right?
But I know what you're saying. But the strain type is probably going to be more sativa leaning.
Absolutely,
more likely,
right.
More than
Absolutely.
likely, because those will. Yep.
So we're gonna swing the rock.
Yep.
What's yours?
I have a go-to for night, and then I have a go-to for day. My all-time favorite is an old school boy is strawberry cough. As a matter of fact, just grew some strawberry cough, harvested over. Shout out to Tam, if you know, you know. It was a beautiful organic day. Yeah. Put that was I was telling you.
Strawberry?
Put strawberry cough.
Okay.
And it is, when I tell you, it is a nice, smooth uplift. It doesn't do that anxiety like you said. It's just enough just to keep me chatty.
Yep.
Get me in a good mood.
Yep.
Man, I was cleaning the kitchen, listening.
Oh yeah,
you know
that's
what I'm
it.
saying? Bouncing around, had a dance party by myself, but that's what it do every rip.
Now there are often times where I don't know what it is.
Yep.
Right? But whether it goes or stays is based on just that right there.
That's right.
If I can clean the house to it,
Yep.
if I can make breakfast off of it, I'm gonna ride with it.
Oh, so strawberry cough, man, I probably bumped into that first time, had to be 15 years ago. Finally got to the point to where I could grow my own. So when I grew it, what?
There it is.
But on the other side of that, if I want to lay down and be really nice and just relax, I always go, again, it's another one, maybe like I think we just got something from the establishment called layer cake. That one is real smooth. It kind of calms, and it's a good night's sleep for me.
That's a good
night's sleep for me. Layer cake. So,
speaking of the establishment,
let's do it.
Shout out to the Only Alien, right?
That's
it's
right.
Amazing establishment, man. Looking to do more. We greatly appreciate the support. Good looking, Malik.
I double down on that. Only Alien got a smoke lounge. I know they're gonna be doing some renovations soon. Hey, we in the boy, and it's nice. It's nice. You can just come in. It's not the biggest place, but it allows us to come do this, and we've done a couple events here now, right?
Absolutely.
We have done a wellness watch. So again, back into the work we do, wellness watch, looking at wellness, the mental health of specifically Black men.
Yep.
Had a nice couple of wellness watches back during the football season. Invited some folks in, had some conversation, had good food.
Healthy food.
Healthy food.
We had healthy
That's
food.
right, on purpose.
So we had veggie wraps, all sorts, and
Veggie
hummus,
and hummus.
right?
Yeah. It don't
sorry.
sound
I'm
good,
sorry.
but if you've partaken and you know when you get the munchies, it don't really matter.
But and so that's the other part, right? So part of the Wellness Watch campaign is really about getting brothers together to be able to build, watch a game. We normally watch the game and we're gonna eat something that's probably not healthy for us. Somebody gonna yell at us for smoking out or something or whatever, right? And so the thought process was let's curate some space.
That's right.
I like to curate.
Curate
some space.
Curate space.
For brothers to get together, break bread, and just watch the game, right? And then everybody went home and took care of business, right?
And if
that's what it's all
alcohol
about.
was your thing, then that wasn't the
Just
moment
not-
we was
yeah.
having. Again,
Yeah.
intentionally doing something in alternative to, as opposed to going to a bar and taking some shots or drinking a couple beers or what have you. Not damning that, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Not shitting on that, but
Just an alternative, another option.
An alternative to just come in and put a couple in the air or not, just sit around and watch the game. So it was dope. In both games we watched, I believe it was Lions game, and they won both. Go Lions!
You
Detroit
already know it.
in the house.
Right.
But no, that's good call with the wellness watching. So we'll do more of those. Be on the lookout. If that sounds like that's your thing, just be on the lookout for those.
Oh, if you okay, never mind. We don't
ahead.
do that. Nope.
No?
Nope.
All right.
Nope. Nope.
All right.
I'm gonna stay where we going.
All right. What's a good go-to? Say you need to relax. Now you getting caught a cloud. What type of music is a go-to for you?
Oh man, so I found this group shortly after my son was born called the Ezra Collective.
Yeah, I just found them. I did.
So I thought I was bugging.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, boy, this
them.
crazy. Somebody done, you know what I mean?
I just found them.
And turned it on, and it was a dope groove, man. So I think it's a group. I think they're out of the UK, right?
Yeah.
But always have some dope grooves. And so I'm gonna go to that, and then Permanent Marker, if I can get my hands on it.
That's okay. Hold on. So you put the strain with the Ezra's Collective.
Yeah.
I see what you're doing. I see what
Yeah.
you're doing. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Good
recommendation. Or what you put me on though, the Mansour Brown. You can't go wrong with that.
That's right. Yeah, in that same vein, mine would be. I'm pretty sure this is the UK, if not Northern Africa situation. Excuse me. Venna, Venna, dope. Venna is dope. They got, I think the newest album was Malik. Yeah, man, it's just, for me, it's all the way through. I don't even know if it's called jazz, but it's definitely a hip hoppy, jazzy type of whatever it is. Dope though, check it out. And if it's on me to pick something, you already heard me. I'm gonna go with the probably Icy Pie is a new thing that I roll up against as an Icy Pie, smooth strain.
Was it David Banner?
Okay.
Was that the strand a few years?
It
few
was
years back
it was.
that
David
was going
Banner
around.
Was the strain, yep.
Oh man.
What was my man Incredible Hulk's name before he became the Hulk?
Bruce Banner.
Bruce, that's what it was.
Maybe
Bruce
that's okay.
Banner.
Okay.
That's what it was. Bruce
I knew
Banner.
it was something Banner.
Yeah, that's what it was. Bruce Banner.
That's a tough one.
That one was tough. I remember that.
Or that cheese. Remember the cheese was around
cheese?
for a little while.
Yeah,
but
take
it back.
You really taking it back now.
Take it back.
Yeah, that was them frosty things.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay. All right. Where else you want to go, man? To our reintroductory podcast.
Hey, we've had I think a good conversation, right?
Yeah.
Be on the lookout for more. We talking credentialing. We're talking about pathways to the industry.
That's right.
Right. We're talking about understanding who you are buying from and why. Right. Why that's important, especially if you live in Kalamazoo.
Yeah, I think in general, it's important. We have that conversation a lot, and some won't care, but it does mean something about who you buy from, what you're smoking, and if you have an opportunity to even give a damn how it's even being produced.
Well, we got to give a damn, right? Because it's like anything else.
It sound good,
right? And you're right, it do
Yeah, it
sound
sound
good. But that's another reason why I feel like this is such a passion project for both of us. Is that we our goal is to educate the community, share information, share.
That's right.
Right, and so we want and hope for folks to make healthy decisions, right? Sometimes you just take anything and it'll have you on a different trip, and that's not the goal. Or right, or what I heard the other day from a bud tender was, we won't take the medication from the physician, right? We'll just take a gummy, right, to help with chemo, right, or with somebody that's going through chemo, right? But we don't know that we shouldn't give them gummies because gummies, there's a lot of sugar in that, and so it's not a good situation, right? And so, as a community, we want to make sure that we are creating opportunities for information to flow right out, and it's not just what we think or what somebody might say. This industry is about.
So we're refining it. The industry is here. Oz is hoopa ha. The industry is corrected, and now you have access to the cannabis. Now it's about having information about how do you best consume it, what's good for you, who are you purchasing from. You have options to purchase from people. Everybody ain't for the community. They just here to extract the resources from the community.
Absolutely.
And you have you need to know who to go to that's doing the work, that's investing back into the community the right way. And that's what we hope to. I don't want to use the word expose. We hope to make sure that we educate people on where to go and how to do that. And I love the point you just made, even holistically and wellness wise. Yep, we know a lot of people get into cannabis for medicinal purposes, but even with that, that's the next level down. How do you best do it? If you are recovering from something, say like from cancer, something that's sugar-based may not be best for you, because we know sugar, especially refined sugar, breaks down the immune system even more. So these are the tidbits that we're talking about that we want to make sure we share with folks. So
yeah.
With that being said, man, what you got? We do
we did, but do we have time to do that?
I'm just making sure I ain't talking too much.
Nah, not at all, brother.
Okay.
I ain't. Shoot, we out here. What'd you say? Just keep on rolling, Jack.
So we rolling then.
Well, but in that, right, what you were just talking about, it sparked a thought in my mind around a very important subject, a matter that you'll hear us bring up quite often, which is social equity.
Yep.
Right.
Great catch. Great catch.
To reside within the city of Kalamazoo, if you are part of the cannabis community or you care about cannabis at all, we would hope that you would take some time to gain an understanding around social equity. I don't know why I would just.
No, I think you did a great job of, because for me, I was landing the plane, but that's a very important piece.
That's what we pick up when we take off again.
Yeah, the social equity aspect of things. I guess we'll just leave folks with, if you have any, you pick up the Google machine and just do social equity. Do social equity in the state of Michigan. Do social equity in the municipality where you are. If you're in Battle Creek, if you're in Kalamazoo, if you're in Flint, you're in Lansing.
That's real. Wherever you are. Within the state.
Just look at what the social equity, just look at that. There's a lot of money being funded into social equity programs, and you as community members have a say in that. And you have a say in where that money goes. Now, you have to do it like everything else. The power is in numbers, but if you make enough stink, they have to listen to you, because especially if you're spending money in dispensaries, that money is being kicked back to the community somehow, some way. And it's all public knowledge, so it's all public record.
Well, then, I guess, again, before you get off this here plane, make sure you are a responsible citizen, because the way you vote is the way they're going to take us.
Vote. That being said, stay tuned for episode 2.